they always do, obviously. But Twisted Fate is best against both those things.
Well, you can see the final bans coming through. There's already a Twitch locked in. Leona already taken away. Cassidin taken away. Quick fire picks and bans. LeBlanc was the final choice, of course. Faker not going to be able to play that one. But you already see a Lulu and a Kha'Zix on the board as well.
And this is kind of what we ended up seeing in the Cloud9 OMG pick and ban, where Twitch was left open. But now it's going to be all about whether SKT builds a team comp around Twitch, because when Sneaky got caught on Twitch in Game 1, he had no one to really guard him, and it was very much an unprotected team comp, which is why with that Lulu pick right away from Fnatic, it will give, kind of take away protection from SKT, because they won't be able to have that mid lane Lulu if they wanted it.
Yeah, and of course, Cyanide on the Kha'Zix. It's kind of his #1 champion right now. It's the champion that he has been running for Fnatic probably, I would say, like 80–90% of the time over the last probably 20 games.
It fits right in with their play style, and he's also been able to pick up a lot of early kills on Kha'Zix, which honestly would be better served as assists, because Cyanide has never been one to really hard carry the games, but it's still an incredibly confident and strong champion for him. I feel like Fnatic's going to go something like Nidalee here. Is Lucian still up as well? Yeah, they could go full Telecom, kind of like the one that they won the European LCS with.
Speaking of comfortable champions, Bengi has got Lee Sin. He has his own skin for it. Why not? He earned it. Faker, of course, already locked in that Shyvana for Impact in the top lane, who has been a monster throughout this tournament.
Yeah, the things with Impact, it's not necessarily that he's been destroying everyone. Well, that's exactly it. He is destroying the enemy top laner. I didn't mean to say it's not like he's going off. He's keeping the other people down more so than I've really seen from him in his career.
Yeah, he is a beast. Reckless. Well, he had incredible stats in the opening Super Week in the European LCS on Jinx. Will he stick with it, or will he stick with the tried and tested Lucian, who has become his most popular champion over the last few weeks, along with Yellowstar? Fnatic at the moment are actually getting a lot of picks they really like.
They're looking a lot like a Cloud9 team composition before the final pick, because that's really when it's going to sell it. Peke's not one to play Lulu often.
And Soaz has played a lot of Trundle, you know. It's a bold.
I just have to mention this Yasuo, because it's almost like SKT is predicting an Italy pick.
So, Fnatic had some serious problems against Yasuo. Invictus Gaming ran it at Katowice. They could not deal with the crazy aggression that came out. We've not really seen it in Europe. Some strong Yasuo players. So Kautar's the only one really that plays it. We'll see how Faker runs this.
The thing is, with Fnatic, they've played so much Nidalee, and that's what teams pick Yasuo into normally. But this is the Kayle pick. Here's the thing. Right when Yasuo released, he does not block the auto attacks from Kayle. He blocks all the other ranged champions' auto attacks, but not Kayle, because it is not a projectile, so it will go through the wind wall. Even though Kayle's been nerfed down, that is a great pick against Yasuo.
But this also answers the question. Soaz and Shy were having this discussion. Who's the best top lane? Lulu, Shyvana, Lulu, Shyvana, Lulu, Shyvana. We're going to see them together. Whether they're actually going to face each other at any point is a matter we'll have to find out in the game. But Fnatic honestly have got a team comp that they enjoy, and I feel SK Telecom have as well.
Yes, I absolutely agree. The Zyra from Kumandu is a little bit of a throwback. Yes, he did play it again in the group stage, but that was mainly to use the skin. This is serious. There's no way that SKT is going to be taking this match lightly or as a fan service.
Absolutely.
They're taking this to win.
This is all about representing Korea. You heard it there. They was talking about how they are basically coming to this tournament, not only representing SK Telecom T1, they're representing the whole of South Korea, and they absolutely want to win. So, the match is about to get underway. We're going to head over to Twitter and tell us which mid laner's play style generates more big plays. Pretty sure you know which way this one's going to go. Hashtag Faker or hashtag Peke. Don't forget, Peke has some of those big, crazy backdoor moments. Send your tweets to @LOL Esports, and this could be a crazy game.
It's going to be all about whether Peke can play with a lot of confidence against Faker, or whether he's giving him a little bit too much respect. Even though Fnatic is an absolutely monstrous underdog, no one would be surprised if they lost this game. But if we think back to the group stage, even though Fnatic did go 1-3, every single one of their games were winnable at some point.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Baron, that was the difference. Cyanide stepped out of line just a little bit. He went to clear the ward instead of staying back to clear that Baron. Could have turned the game, could have turned the competition on its head, but it wasn't to be. We'll see if it is this time, ladies and gentlemen. The semi-finals is getting underway. SK Telecom as the blue team up against, well, you can hear it, it's Fnatic as the red team.
Right off the bat, I have to wonder if we're going to see standard lanes or if we're going to see a very roam-focused game. It's actually kind of funny. When Fnatic plays to their European LCS championship level, they're pretty low-kill games. They do not like to engage the other team. They like to just run all around them, never have true fights. And this is a very much their type of team comp. No real tank. They have a lot of support for Cyanide, but he's actually free to build damage. It is a very difficult strategy to pull off, which is why you actually see them in position to win a lot of games, but then they just make some type of misplay and end up losing.
I think Soaz is going to try and bait Impact a little bit closer. You can see Yellowstar hanging in that bush. Not going to happen, no, not falling for it. They're happy to just go in, get that deep ward placement. They have actually warded out not that deep. No. In all essence, they are just going to go straight for the full invade. So this is actually a reverse, though, because they're in the blue jungle. Cyanide is going to have to solo this blue. It's going to be a tricky one for him. You can see him down that bottom lane, but it would be an even trade if they can make it count.
Yeah, I really wonder if Cyanide would have the gall to go into that jungle pretty much blind. He doesn't know where anyone could be, and that's actually what teams with Zyra generally do early game, is wait for someone to invade, because it allows someone to walk into the grasping roots if they decide to check. I think Cyanide is just playing defense and is going to be looking for a standard jungle start. He actually is a little bit late to his buff, and delayed invade from Fnatic.
Late invade comes in, Dark Binding lands on Impact. They didn't actually notice it because he was in there, but Bengi is forced to flash away. Impact caught out with the Glitterlance. Is there enough damage coming through? I'm not too sure. One more Glitterlance will come through, but they're going to force him away from the blue.
Even so, this is absolutely huge. There's actually another contestant going on the other side. Fnatic steals one blue and secures the other.
Wow, great start by Fnatic straight away. It does mean, of course, we're going to have some lane swaps coming in as expected. Peke and Faker in this mid lane. This one will be an interesting one, because if they do go with the 4-0, if they do go with some sort of stacking system, Faker versus Peke, it's going to be all or nothing between the two, because Faker's going to have the confidence to know there's no jungler coming towards him. Yeah. You can just go all on Peke.
And also, there's not going to be too many ganks coming in that early because of all the time that got spent during the jungle invades. But this is very heavy counter jungling going on for Fnatic. SKT actually took 2 Cloud9 buffs at the start of the game, going 3 for 1. And this is Fnatic giving SKT a taste of their own medicine, actually.
Well, Soaz hasn't backed away. He has got that blue buff, remember. He's going to put damage back down on Impact. He wants to keep Impact around as long as possible, because the longer Impact stays, the better Soaz is. It means he's going to try and keep him low on levels. Reckless is freezing the lane. He's not really, well, he's not freezing it, it's just not going to push heavily. He's not fast pushing in towards there, which actually SK Telecom are doing down the bottom, I feel.
We're seeing much more starts like this in the All-Star here, where it's not the 4-man stack, but instead it's a more denial-focused of lane swapping. They're really just getting secured farm for their 80 carries. They're only taking 1 turret, and it's more about jungler denial and mid-lane isolation than it is about fast pushing.
Oh, Peke goes aggressive. Faker turns it round, but he had a big stack of minions hitting him in the back, which actually laid down a lot of that damage, and Peke using that exhaust early on, though.
That could actually be pretty big. He's going to need that exhaust if anything comes at him, especially a Bengi jungle gank. That's one of the big reasons that Yasuo was so popular in these heavy lane swaps places, because he's able to use his dashes offensively in lane, bait summoner spells, and have no force of, retaliation from the other team.
So this is what we've seen a few times now from Fnatic. Soaz actually he's literally just roamed all around the jungle, and now he's looking. Faker goes aggressive. Soaz is just over the side now. Glitterlance does not land. A fantastic win wall from Faker to stop that Glitterlance in his tracks, and he gets away. It forces the flash, and the ignite was also burned from Faker.
That was very timely roam from Soaz. He has just been a jungler slash ganking Lulu right now. Not exactly what you're used to. He's behind on farm. If Soaz doesn't make something happen, more so other than burning a flash, that will cost Fnatic in the long run. But for now, it gives Peke breathing room in mid.
Block of that wind wall, that would have been the death. It would have absolutely slowed him down. He had the flash still available, but it would have been a very, very slow move. And of course, Peke is sitting on that flash still. could have chased. Impact only just hit level 2, has had to come in and try and clean up some of those last hits to steal them away from Faker. You can also see Bengi moving in now. We haven't seen Bengi around that mid lane because they were focusing on taking that turret, which actually Fnatic only just did. So both turrets now down, top and bottom. And we're going to see the duo lanes going up against each other.
Yeah, and after all the trading,
or will we?
Even though it seemed like Fnatic would have a nice lead from that, they ended up just getting even gold. What's so funny about this is the whole debate between Soaz and Shy when they were talking about Shyvana and Lulu, what's better? Soaz is like better in lane. Better This isn't the lane game.
Soaz caught out. He's not going to get away from this one. It will be first blood. That was a quick kill from the duo lane of Piglet Mandu.
And that's exactly it. It's not about the laning phase for her. She just got camped in one of those side lane rushes and taken down. You're not allowed to play against Shyvana in a game like this.
Well, it's a good turnaround of damage from Peke. Oh, is he going to follow through? He has flash, but he's not going to go for it. He's so fearful. He has no knowledge of where Bengi is.
That was Peke playing cautious, quite honestly.
Is that a confidence
When we showed it in our featured matchup, and old Peke would have flashed for that kill if he was full confidence, a chance to kill Faker. Too much respect for SKT, quite honestly. I think that could have been a kill. Well, unless his E was off, I wasn't 100% sure.
Yeah, he just run out. He just finished
and
off
now,
there.
Speaking of which, he's getting ganked, which crush his confidence.
You can see Bengi waiting off at the side. Cyanide is close by, as is Yellowstar. Now they know it's going to be coming. They're going to catch on towards the tower. Here comes a dart bind. He lands on Piglet. Cyanide pounces for it, but Reckless cannot get close on this one. The poison's ticking. Isn't going to be enough to take him down. No, he's just safe.
Still actually saved his flash, but now SKT has a strong push down on the mid lane. Again, pushing him back and giving Yasuo actually breathing room. The roaming really is crazy in this game, D-Man.
So you can see Mandu making his way up there. Reckless on his own at the moment against Impact. So Mandu, if he lands that grasping root, it's going to be all sorts of trouble. Instead, he will sidestep the damage. He has to use the heal, though. Impact gets enough on his back.
Yeah, luckily for Reckless there, Impact is so weak at this point in the game. He's level 3. Even if the root would have landed, it might not have been a kill. Does have to burn his heal to get away, and it ends up sending him back to base. But no death was suffered.
So Piglet's been having to run amok a little bit down that bottom lane. Got that kill on Soaz, trying to start one on Peke. Peke, who himself did not back, by the way, after that engage. Still got himself that double Doran's ring, though. It's going to have to try and get a little bit more hit points or something to prevent Faker from jumping on him. That Vampiric Scepter now built up. And SK Telecom, they're roaming, they go for blue.
So many roams and invades in this game. They have sight of it because of that Q. He jumps in. It's a Smite War.
It's the Cyanide's going to get it down. Bengi's going to use the safeguard on Mandu. Will get himself away cleanly, but it forces the blue away from Peke.
That's one thing Cyanide will always be able to do, is land those smites in clutch situations. But once again, it's all about the roaming. A teleport Lulu in the top lane, they're trying to catch.
Soaz comes in on towards him, gets the Glitlands down. The Pixie's on him as well. Has he got much more damage? He forces the flash. That'll do.
Whoa. If only they would have known that binding would land. Nice shot for no reward. And a big push down middle lane. These rotations are faster than I've seen in quite some time.
Piglet comes out the side, has got level 6, rat-a-tat-tat running, but Peke luckily just hit 6, so he can use that invulnerability to save the day, and actually saves the turret briefly.
Fnatic is desperately trying to keep up with where SKT is going right now. How many different lanes has Mandu seemingly arrived in the past 5 minutes? He has just been everywhere, and he's not even behind in experience on top of it.
Triple Doran's ring being picked up by Soaz. That just shows you they are trying to keep in this game against SK Telecom, despite the fact that you could look at the gold. It's actually fairly in between them. Cyanide caught out by the grasping root. Dark Shield was used. Mandu taking a big burst of damage. And again, the wind wall comes out to stop the culling.
That wind wall is going to be extremely key if we get into some of these clutch siege situations. Whenever Fnatic tries to turn, it will be the spell that throws up to help them escape. Then they can rely on the Zyra slower form escape. Crowd controls right there. And now an invade coming from Fnatic because they just pushed SKT off mid.
And you know, just before all of those lane changes, everything was happening, it was very even between Reckless and Piglet. Now look at it, 72 to 60. Oh, Cyanide pounces, forces a flash away. Meanwhile, back in the mid lane, Peke again getting taken low. Piglet flashes for it, the poison's ticking. I'm not sure it's going to be enough. It may be on Yellowstar. No, he gets away as well. Fnatic by the skin of their teeth. Cyanide and Soaz yet to be chased. Faker and Impact chasing on towards them. They will back away. The Glitterlance doing work.
Very little summoner spell discipline, so to speak, in this game. People blowing flashes very freely. Look at that. SKT has 1 flash available on their entire team, whereas Fnatic is actually only down 2, and those just got burned. if we're going to continue to see all these movements and people getting caught out, those flash cooldowns are incredibly critical to keep in mind, as the gold is only 500 away.
And the difference that you can see between those two top lanes was Soaz had got himself a fairly decent CS advantage. That's going to dwindle away, but because he invested 3 Doran's rings, that's effectively going into nothing, whereas Impact, of course, with the Negatron cloak, don't matter whether he's behind in gold, he's actually ahead in items.
And Soaz is really still playing to lane, even though there isn't really a laning phase. This game will hopefully approach some pretty decent team fights, and with the triple Dorans, if they could force a dragon right now, it would be very beneficial.
Yeah, and Bengi, as you just saw, next to no health. He can't get involved in this one. He's going to go back. He's just got himself that red buff. This will be a dragon for Fnatic.
I gotta say, D-Man, it's probably the fastest paced 1-kill game in 11 minutes that I've seen all year. These guys have been moving around so much and just avoiding kills. That evens out the goal.
And it's just one kill, one turret. It's not even like turrets falling left, right, and center. They're just the 2 turrets they took at the opening plays. Fnatic moving into position. They want to try and corner the rat.
This is the first big move that Fnatic has kind of made on their own accord. It's not a reaction to SKT. We have to see if they can get something on Piglet. He's really safe behind that minion line, though. Unless he roams just out. Yellowstar wants him to, or they might just go before the minions can even get a binding down.
Pumandu's going to join him back on their side. Now it's going for it. Stealth up, goes in, gets the damage down on towards him. Piglet's actually taking the path, which is going to put him in danger. They pounce on towards him. They can't see where he's going to go. Mandu's going to be the focus target instead. They're going to switch around towards him. The exhaust goes down. They should have enough damage. Teleport coming in. They don't know. Yellowstar's in trouble. He has to try and get out of it. Teleport was cancelled, but Cynide's caught out. Bengi's going to come around. He's going to surely get the kill. Knocks him away. Faker manages to follow through with his ult. He takes him down. While Piglet took down Yellowstar. Reckless is in all sorts of trouble. Now you can see the wind wall going down. Intervention comes out from Peke. Peke can't do anything. This is in danger of falling to a 4-for-1 situation, and it is. SK Telecom turned the game on its head. A triple kill for Piglet.
Everything going in the way of SKT in that bottom lane fight, but what about the top one? Soaz needs to close this down.
Trying to chase on towards him, but he has that burnout running. He has the Dragon Descent. He should be safe for now.
To get back to that other fight, 4 kills going to Piglet is disaster. As far as Fnatic is concerned, he is the stealth bomber, so to speak, when he gets his build going with the Blade of the Rune King. Let's take another look at this one, though, how he barely escapes this. This is why Fnatic wanted to wait for the binding, because going without the binding means Piglet could walk away and get that off. But we don't have time for replays. This game is too fast.
So as tries to turn it around, he tries to take something out of nothing here. The Ignite running, though, is not going to save his life, and Impact gets himself in there. Pumandu actually picks up the kill, though.
Another step behind for Fnatic, and that makes it 6-1 at this point.
You know, one thing always said in traditional sports is the best way to beat a home opponent is to silence the crowd early, and listen right now, this is a much quieter crowd. We're only 12, 13 minutes into this game. It's already 6-1 to SK Telecom. They have started out so well. This could be dangerous situation for Fnatic in this best of 3.
I mean, this is really what everyone on Fnatic, and probably everyone here, feared, is that SKT would come out so quickly and stop Fnatic before they even had their chance to win. In all 4 of Fnatic's games in the group stage, as we mentioned, they had a chance to win the game at some point. They were up on OMG. They were even with Cloud9 for almost all of it. The SKT game, mind you, because they had the SKT skins and they gave Pekka Kassadin, they had that Baron play that very well could have won them the game if executed properly, and of course they beat TPA. They haven't had an opportunity in this game because SKT has been so fast, roamed around so well, and really just beaten Fnatic to almost every punch.
You know, we're focusing on how much they've invested in those Doran's rings. The Doran's items which obviously never progressed into anything. SK Telecom never went down that path. They only ever had 1 Doran's blade a piece, and they've all continued to invest in items. Now that they're ahead in the game, that is giving them an even bigger advantage than that 2,000 gold shows.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. With the early game Doran choices not really panning out early for Fnatic, the ganks don't stop either. There's a Lee Sin on the hunt.
Oh, Bengi's going to come into the side, as you say. Impact is already on him, so has to use that wild growth, but is it going to be enough? Glitzerlance lands on Bengi, dodges out of the Sonic Wave. It may just be enough because the Impact, his Dragon Descent's going to run out in a moment. He's safe to the turret. He should be able to get away, but Peke's in trouble. Faker comes around. Windwall actually used to stop him, slowing him down. Uses the intervention. Cyanide comes around the side, but it was a quick and easy kill for Piglet. 5-0 rat.
Fed Twitch right there, and even with the intervention, you just can't get away fast enough. He's just going to keep shooting you. If you get it a bit out of range, he pops his ultimate, continues to shoot you. this SKT team came to play today.
And with everybody basically melee damage, AD damage, those turrets will go down so much faster this early on. 15 minutes into the game, that mid turret already down.
Yeah, normally a team without Twitch doesn't have good sieging power. It's fine if you kill everybody first, then you can take down turrets just fine.
That's for sure. Soaz now in trouble. 3-man gank team coming towards him. Make that a 4 because they backed off at the side. Grasping Root does not land. He's dodging just about everything he can. He's going to try and turn this on towards Bengi. Can he get the kill? Not in time. And that's another kill for Piglet.
As far as kill distribution goes, this could honestly not be any better for SKT. Not only are they up 4,000 gold, but it's the Twitch that they need when he comes out of stealth at this point, because everyone on Fnatic is also very far behind. They're just straight up dead.
I wonder if Peke is going to try and create something here. Cyanide's just off at the side. Fumandu's going to be the focus target. A squishy support is exactly what you need to try and get yourself back in there. They're going to try and double it up there. You can see Stranglethorns going down. Cyanide will take that kill because, well, simply put, Peke doesn't have much damage yet.
Kayle takes a really long time to scale up. It's pretty good in the laning phase if it's isolated and lasts a long time, which it just simply hasn't in this game. Fnatic has got no room to breathe.
Being next to the no laning phase, that's the big issue. And, you know, we talked about it at the World Finals. Oh my word, doesn't need any help on this ult. He goes in himself 2v1, and he may well get the kill. Soaz is going to go down. Reckless doesn't want to get involved. Dark Binding does not land, and Faker gets himself for Soaz.
Yeah, Faker is also in a scary place right now. Static Shift Berserker Greaves completed and farming up a storm. I really feel like this game is very quickly getting out of hand, and the thing that actually surprises me the most about this is in the group stage, the one lane of SKT that wasn't really performing was Piglet and Mondu. Faker was doing fantastic, Impact was shutting down enemy top laners, and Bengi had looked better than he had in a while. But it was actually the Twitch that did. We're taking another look at this one just to see getting the knock-up into double knock-up by Faker there to put both people in an unsafe position and then immediately going to the guy who didn't get the shield was a smart choice by Faker right there.
And you got to think back to when Peke could have pulled the trigger early on in this game. These confidence issues, how much they may well lead into the situation. And, you know, looking at OMG's match against SK Telecom, they were not showing that respect to SK Telecom. They were not scared. And you only need to listen to all of the interviews. Everybody, you know, basically giving so much praise to SK Telecom. Yes, they are. They were a fantastic team. At the moment, they were technically in a slump, and you should, as a pro player, go into these teams confident in your own abilities and not be fearful of what you're up against.
You really have to just play as if you are the best. You always see a lot of times in sports, the really arrogant players are often the best ones, because even if they're outclassed, they don't feel like they're outclassed. And that can often just allow them to perform much better, especially on big stages. We just saw the Cloud9 versus OMG game, and yes, Cloud9 did amazing in the group stage, and it was ridiculous that they were able to go 3-1 and even make it to the semifinals without high. But in that last game, it really felt like their nerves got to them. We saw way more missed skill shots than we've pretty much ever seen from those guys, and they looked sloppy. Cloud9 almost never looks sloppy. That's something that we don't see from SKT on a stage like this because they've been to multiple Champions finals in Korea. They've played on the Staples Center and won. And since they've already slumped, they're on their way back up. They're just so confident right now.
So as Wild Growth used just about saving his life, they're actually thinking of going back in for this red buff, and that's not worth a flash.
It hit the small red.
Oh, wow. Oh, Yellowstar, they're trying everything now. They want to get themselves a kill on Faker, but it's not to be. Intervention goes down, but Faker's just going to run amok through this team, and in comes Rats once again. It's another double kill for Piglet.
That just kind of adds insult to injury right there. Not only do you flash to hit a small lizard at the red buff camp, you get 3 kills in front of Baron. We got to take another look at this one. Unfortunately, Faker left that little guy up. I honestly feel like he almost did that intentionally. No Yellowstar was waiting for him. And then he goes just far enough to pull everyone else into the SKT team. Zyra plus Twitch. It is a corridor of pain right there for Fnatic. After that fight, the Baron went down as well. SKT absolutely dominated.
Yeah, game over, I feel, in this first matchup. 2-0-6 Faker, 8-0-1 Piglet. It is really a show of force, I think it's what you'd say in America, is how you tend to go into these situations, and SK Telecom are really showing how strong they are. We talked about how they'd come into this matchup, super serious, and I think it's showing right now. This is a dominant performance by the world champions.
Yeah, they always show up to these global events on a mission, and it's a very difficult situation for Fnatic to be in, obviously. Playing in front of their home crowd, even though it does support them, is a lot of pressure for these guys. And even though Fnatic, we were talking about this earlier, even though Fnatic won the spring split of the LCS, it was one of their least convincing LCS victories that we've seen, because they had such a substantial slump in the middle of the season. And even though Fnatic did come together in the finals, it kind of seemed a little bit like they just stumbled upon the right champions. They picked a really nice poke and heal competition that other teams weren't ready for and could kind of just individually roam around, throw spears, never fight the other team. That worked for a little bit, but it's definitely not working against SKT or the other teams on the world stage.
And it's a worrying sign that is developing, honestly, for the European scene, as well as maybe in the North American scene. Right now, though, the European scene definitely seems to be in a little bit of a slump, with nobody really making clear goals, nobody making clear strides in that league, and the fact that Fnatic are 3 times split champions. Piglet almost caught out. That would have been a handsome trophy maybe for Cyanide if he could have collected it, but an 8-0-1 Twitch absolutely will be worth the gold. And
he's doing that Ghostblade Bladed Rune King build that we saw in the previous set from OMG. This is what Twitches often do when they get really far ahead, because even though it's not the most spectacular late game scaling build, it really guarantees that any solo person from the other team, oh, real unlucky not getting that one down, any solo person from the other team is starved of farm, or they're just doing it completely unsafely. He'll open up Ghostblade, Blade of the Ruined King, and since they'll mainly be squishy targets trying to farm, he'll just instantly kill them.
And this really is showing, you know, obviously it stems from that triple kill down the bottom that Piglet picked up. That was really the big point.
Which was honestly a
SK
pretty
Telecom,
close fight.
It was a very close fight, but again, as we saw at the Worlds, SK Telecom read the situations. Fnatic were setting up that kill a long time ago. They were in the bush. So has sidestep in the Dragon Descent, using that wild growth. He may get out of this one. He's a slippery sucker, but the slow comes in from Piglet. Has to force that flash away. But what I was going back to was the fact that they always read these situations. And this telegraphs right back to, I would say, you know, MLG New York when we were there in the arena. This was the first time Korean teams burst on the scene against North American teams. And just back then, all the way back then, when I was actually there with Monte Cristo and we were talking about how they were predicting what was coming beforehand, reading the situation and getting that one step ahead, and it still is persisting.
Yeah. What we saw the start of this game was ridiculously fast, and Fnatic just hasn't been able to keep up long term. Bengi, though, does go a little bit deep, gets out with his life.
He did it yesterday. It almost worked this time around. Went a little too far, but with a Baron on SK Telecom, they're happy to push in on towards this inhibitor turret. You can see the damage is not really going down on it because they're looking to see if they can make those picks early starting off. Stranglethorns bounces back in the air, intervention already used, remember. That's safe for Cyanide's life. Cyanide himself trying to get him towards Boomandu. Does pounce across, but can't even get the kill on the support. Faker, meanwhile, sidestepping once again, gets out. Cyanide hasn't got the lifesteal. Yellowstar did manage to take down Impact in that fray, and SK Telecom backing out with next to no health, but you've got to feel it is only a matter of time.
Yeah, it's a 10,000 gold lead with Baron buff at 23 minutes into the game. There's a Piglet as well, on to Reckless.
Piglet trying to sneak in there, the stealth assassin, not unable to take him down, and that's pretty much only down to the fact that he has that singular dash available.
Yeah.
Oh, cheeky, not going to be enough though.
SK Telecom right now are kind of just going through the victory mode. We'll take another look at this fight where they get a little bit too deep. Unfortunately, Mondu has the turret on him, also a Kha'Zix, so when he flashes away, the team really gets split up. They wanted to execute a full dive, but unfortunately the Zyra got isolated and they wanted to prevent that from happening, so then they got trapped in between the turret, and that's the main reason Impact went down. Not a huge loss though overall for SKT.
Faker almost caught out there, a very big bug in Cyanide with the wild growth on him. Is going to head off out there. SK Telecom, while they are on a gigantic advantage, we did see yesterday and have seen through signs through the groups and in the champions, when they do get ahead, they do sometimes get a little bit reckless.
Absolutely. Bengi yesterday and his Lee Sin game at the very end was just trying to fly into the base on his own. Died once, got away the other time, and I really feel like SKT is just going to play with a lot of freedom right now, more so than anything else. Yes, they may make a few mistakes and give up a few kills, but they have the ability to. They're actually so far ahead that they don't need to play their really good vision denial game where they bait fights at just the right moment, because they are that much stronger. They're going to bait 3v4s.
Well, Cyanide already using that ulti to try and get down towards Bengi. Quickly gets kicked back. They have next to no damage going on towards him. That's not enough. It's going to get blocked up. Faker at the side. He's just dueling Cyanide. Cyanide has to leap away, but he's going to quickly get flashed through. Faker gets himself one. Gets the ultimate down on towards Faker. Faker in all sorts of trouble. Intervention was already used, so Faker gets himself the double. Can he move on through the rest of the team?
And that was without their 8-kill Twitch, which is what we were just speaking about, how SKT can take fights down men because they're just playing with freedom right now.
They're just pushing straight through that mid lane. They've got the minion line. The rest of Fnatic out of position. Yellowstar's the only one close by, and he can't get involved in this fight. That's going to be the inhibitor to it. The inhibitor will follow. I don't believe Fnatic can defend it.
And what's a game like this going to do to Fnatic's confidence when they were already low on confidence, D-Man? Because they actually played the very first start of this game pretty well, but have since just gotten obliterated and taken out at every part of the map.
In comes Piglet. Pumandu actually stealing the kill away.
I
don't think they're going to be too worried about that. 8-0-3 on Piglet right now. 2-2-12 for Pumandu. And we also heard about, Faker's found himself another bunch of kills. There's
That's a party, though.
Ultimate, look at that. Peke is in all sorts of trouble. Intervention was used. They finally get Faker down, but it took 3 of them.
That was 4 of them, actually. He killed 2. A 1v4, and then Piglet tries to show up to the party. He's like, what, Faker? You didn't burn his ultimate? Then he just takes inhibitor afterwards.
Yeah, not happy about that one. Still not sticking around for that inhibitor. Delaying the game, making sure the minions are with them. Not that they need them for an exposed inhibitor, but they will clear out the pink ward as well. SK Telecom, full control of this one.
The Yasuo mechanics right here by Faker. Dodging the first binding, going right past the Black Shield, and then just flying in past the guy with intervention to try and do as much as possible to Peke. Because the ultimate actually does damage on the way down, that's how he was able to finish off that kill with Yellowstar. I'll say he planned it.
He seemed to.
Yeah.
I mean, it was Yellowstar. He originally started on forced that intervention out of Peke and then said, thanks, got himself a free target.
Oftentimes, Yasuo is very exhaustible because his ultimate will do damage on the way down. So when people get knocked up by it, they throw an exhaust in and then it stops them on the way down. They didn't have an exhaust up for that fight, so death.
Death ensued. So Faker 6-1-7 finally dies out there. 8-0-3, the immortal Piglet so far in this matchup. This first game, in this best of 3. OMG already in the finals. SK Telecom, are they a shoo-in to get there? Everybody on the analyst desk believes so, and judging by this opening performance, it was a very wise choice. Yeah,
they're making a statement here in this game 1. Previous best of 3 had a very close game 1 between OMG and Cloud9. After SKT drops this one out, obviously they change sides in the best of 3s. Fnatic will get their chance at first pick, even though honestly their champion select here looks pretty sound as far as Fnatic team compositions go. They got to try and counterpick against Faker's Yasuo. They did give up the Twitch though, that's one thing.
And that is possibly a big problem for Fnatic, the fact that they did get champions they enjoy. Piglet gets himself another, continues his legendary spree. Yellowstar flashes away. Is it going to save him? Not too sure. Soaz has actually found himself a target. Fortunately, it's 2 of them, Bengi and Pumandu. Cyanide pounces in. He's not going to be there in time to save the day. Piglet gets himself the inhibitor as well. Bengi, of course, got the kill. Cyanide now, he's locked up. He's going to come out of stealth in just a moment. While the rest of SK Telecom push on through for the victory on the Nexus. SK Telecom in clear style take game 1, 22-5. We feared this may be what will happen. SK Telecom, when they turn up, they dominate.
Business as usual in this game 1. 28-minute, 47-second game for them. Faker, Piglet, Impact, Bengi, Mondu, all of them performing. Fnatic's going to have a lot of thinking to do before game 2.
Yeah, that was a very one-sided performance, strong victory, and clearly throwing down the gauntlet. Clearly to whoever they will face. OMG in the final. Will Fnatic be able